happy that you're here, Susan, and that we can talk and that you're part of the Romance Reading Road Trip.
How fun is that? And I love like your whole little look. I started to look a little bit at the passports and stuff because I had
Oh,
done some
yeah.
passports for the series that I was just doing too. So I think that
Oh,
is
cool.
so cute. Road tripping, traveling, all that. I think it's
Right.
adorable.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm just so excited about this and it's been so much fun and I've been enjoying meeting all the different writers and it's just been so wonderful. So thank you for being part of this.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, so can you just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your book?
Sure. So obviously I'm Susan. But I have written, well, I've loved stories my whole life.
Yeah,
Words, stories, everything my whole life. I won my first writing contest when I was in first grade.
I love that.
But obviously life is busy and you don't know what you don't know. And it wasn't really till I was in full mom mode and homeschooling my kids that I came back to writing and pursuing writing and publication. So
Okay.
that was probably, I don't know, 15 years ago. And just worked hard and started writing stories to figure out what the craft was like, growing in my craft. And I about 2017 was published. And
Okay.
so the book that you have is actually the third book in my original series.
Cool.
And but you can read them all. I mean, they can be read
Yep.
as a series or as a standalone. I like to do that. I'm a series girl. I love two things I love most when I'm reading or writing is romance. Romance will always be in my books. And I love series. And sometimes I get to do series, sometimes I have to do standalones.
Right.
But I'm a series girl myself. So, but
Awesome.
it's fun to write them in a way sometimes too, where you can pick them up individually. So,
Yeah, and I
yeah,
feel like those standalone series are so big right now,
yeah,
Like
yeah.
being able to pick up anywhere in the series and then get pulled into their little world and their town. And, I kind of wonder if Gilmore Girls and Stars Hollow sort of got everyone excited about that.
It very well could have. I have a little. I've never watched Gilmore
Oh,
Girls. I
really?
can't believe that I love romance, and it's a series I've never watched. I don't know
You
why.
have to watch it. It's definitely very cute.
I know so much about it. I've just never sat down and watched it.
Okay, well, that is next on your to watch list.
Apparently, yes, it's going to be on my list now.
Love that. Oh my goodness. But where did you get the inspiration for this book or and series, since it's the third in the series, you said?
Yes. So the inspiration actually started with book one, which is At First Glance. And it was really just this idea of, especially when we're talking romance and falling in love, how so often we have an idea in our head of what that will look like or what our mate will look like.
Hmm.
And sometimes we can feel like people look past us, if we're not perfectly like on social media these days,
Right.
the idea of beauty is really pounded into us. And
Yep.
if we don't feel like we fit in that box and we feel like people are judging us and looking past us, and it's like, why can't you get to know me rather than what you see?
Yeah.
But sometimes we're doing the same thing to other people. And
Of
we can look
course.
right
Yeah.
past a great, if I'm speaking from the female character's point of view, you can look past someone who's really great because maybe he doesn't fit in your box and you
Right.
don't even realize you're doing it. And I just started to kind of play with that idea. And so that story started, and in writing that story, these other characters popped up.
Oh,
And I
cool.
just started hearing their stories. And Evan and Rachel are who are in the book that you have, and they are friends. And Rachel is the sister of the main character in book one. And her story, the more that I heard of it from her and the more it kind of came alive in my head, I was like, oh, you need a happily ever after so badly.
Oh.
So, and Evan just kept popping up and he was just her friend. And I married my best friend. We were friends from the time we were 12 on. We didn't date until late in our college years.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
so
cool.
Friends to More is always a story that just really makes my heart happy. So,
Ah, that's
yeah.
exciting. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love that. And so when you were writing this, did you also kind of get inspiration from your own story too and everything?
I think in some ways on the friendship angle, Evan and Rachel's story is a lot different, other than the fact that they're friends who fall in love. And so that kind of push and pull, that worry about, will I lose my friendship if we try?
Mm,
Like that definitely I could pull from the well of kind of what it was like to go from friends to more with my husband.
right.
Um, but their story and kind of some of their fears and their struggles are different in ways than things that I've gone through. And so it was just a really neat time to sit with those characters and kind of work through some of what they were going through. Especially, like I said, with Rachel, I had been with her for 3 books,
Okay.
and she's someone that has experienced loss in her life. And to
Mhm.
kind of walk through that and that fear of, do you put yourself out there? You put your heart out there again, knowing what it feels like to experience loss and become vulnerable, knowing that if I experience loss again, do I want to put myself in that position? But
Right.
I like this guy and I don't want to lose him in my life. And so that was really a neat angle to explore too.
Okay, and so you said since like you're from Michigan,
Yes.
what do you feel like you bring Michigan into your books?
Oh, I try to. So,
That's
I mean, it's
cool.
home state. I've lived here my whole life.
Yep.
And I have a love-hate relationship with Michigan. We were talking earlier. We have very long, long gray winters, and
Mhm.
it can get really hard to make it through a Michigan winter. But our summers, our falls are absolutely stunningly beautiful. I love where I live. I live in the Western Michigan, and it is just a lovely town and full of amazing people. And I've lived here my entire life. So there's a
Cool.
lot of great memories and being able to explore that. So like this book I set kind of along the lakeshore in Holland, Michigan,
Oh,
which is one of
cool.
my husband and I, when we were first married, we lived in Holland. So have good memories from that. I only live about 20 minutes away from Holland now. And it's such a cute town. The beach, the lakeshore is beautiful. So to be able to bring that into books,
Yeah.
um, even in some of my other books, you might see my characters travel a lot because I do love to have people around the globe and
Oh,
travel. But their home base is usually set, here in Michigan or somewhere
cool.
in Western Michigan. Um, Once in a while we travel to Chicago, but I try to keep it in Michigan.
Okay, cool. And I love that you love travel and that you put that into your books too. So you and your family, do you guys travel like around the States and also internationally a lot?
So we do actually, my husband and I, as our children have gotten older, and like I said, I homeschooled my kids.
Cool.
My last one got graduated a couple years ago, and that's thrown us into a different season of life. And part of
Right.
that allows us to have some more freedom to, we don't have to worry about sitters and who's going to take care of the kids and stuff. So
Right.
we're starting to check some things off our bucket list, and we've been able to go some pretty neat places. And that's why even more so in my later books that I've been writing, you'll see probably some more of that travel because I get to explore some of the places that I've gotten to visit and add
Cool.
those in along with like that Midwest angle too.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love that. I love that. In
Yeah.
this road trip, I wanted to kind of like show people like who aren't from the Midwest some different things that would be fun if they do come out
Sure.
here to, go on vacation or if it's a stop on the journey on their vacation. So, what are some things in Michigan that you recommend people check out or put on their bucket list for Michigan?
So, like I would say, mainly on my side of the state, the Lakeshore is a must. I think some of the biggest kind of towns to check out that are cute and quaint and have cute shopping would be Saugatuck, which is a little bit further south, and then Holland and Grand Haven. And those are
Okay.
going to have cute downtown shopping areas. Both the Saugatuck and the Holland one, you have the shopping district, and then you have a little bit of a drive into the beach, the lakeshore. Grand
Right.
Haven kind of combines it all in one place. The great place, piers to walk. You don't understand how big Lake Michigan is until you actually stand there and look at it and can't see any land on the other side. It's
Same.
amazing. It's breathtaking. So I
Yeah.
would definitely say the lakeshore, and then Grand Rapids is kind of on the other side. It's on the other side of me. I live about 20 minutes from Grand Rapids, 20 minutes from the lakeshore. Grand Rapids is amazing. There are botanical gardens. The Frederick Meyer Gardens are absolutely beautiful. Our downtown area is gorgeous. And in the fall, when we have all the amazing colors and everything, we have something called Art Prize. And you can stroll through our downtown area, and artists from literally all across the nation come in and they
Wow.
set up both inside buildings and outside buildings. And along we have a river. That's why it's called Grand Rapids. We have
Yep.
a large river that kind of goes to the heart of our downtown with bridges and gorgeous bridges over.
Oh, sounds so
And
pretty.
they will do art installations. Sometimes they put them right in the river, sometimes along the river. So you go there and you can spend time just walking indoors and outdoors through the city and
Oh,
just
wow.
see hundreds of different types of art.
Yeah.
So
So what are some other things that you think that are very Michigan that you've put in your book? And like, I guess if you read any other person's book that is from somewhere else that, like, for instance, California, there's tons of
yes.
great books set in California, and you have like the beaches and the stuff. But how is it that you think the Midwestern vibe of Michigan makes it different?
Well, I think it just depends on which of my books you're reading.
Yep.
So, and what the characters, because I mean, like you'll have anything from Fago Pop, which is one of their great sodas. Well, we call it pop.
Yep. Yep.
Sometimes it's the vernacular.
I love
Um,
that. We do too. We call it pop too.
yeah, it's that. It's the way that I think sometimes the people interact with one another. I think there's a very Midwestern culture of how you just drop in on people and talk to them. It's we like to sit and linger.
Yeah.
Family, very family oriented, so you'll see that as well. And then I just think it's being, like I said, with this one, you're right on the lake shore. So you'll see stuff where they're walking along the beach or they're on the lake shore or they're in downtown Holland and shopping the area there. And so you get
Cool.
to see those kind of cute little stores in that little downtown area. So I feel like it's a mixture of things, both from how my characters interact with one another to how they speak to the things that they see and then they love. And our sunsets. I mean, the sunsets are the most beautiful
Oh,
thing
yeah.
ever that you're going to see. So,
Oh,
um,
goodness.
and even just the temperature and um like at fall, we have the four seasons. So we have the beautiful fall where you're going to see all the, so you have the summer with those long summer nights and the fireflies and the beaches and
Yeah.
but you get into fall and we get to have, we truly have the four seasons. Winter,
Oh,
we get snow.
yeah.
You don't always get to play with that. I mean, I know you can go up into the mountains in California, but
Right.
we have a true four seasons here, which is one of the things I love
Exactly.
best about my state.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I love how you worded that. It just gave me goosebumps with like the long nights and fireflies and the sunsets and the four seasons. It's so true.
It's a
For
great
my
state. We love our state.
I love that. That's great. And that's a good thing. Like, that's a good thing. You love your state. And that's one thing I love about this road trip, too, because I'm just like finding out more and more about every state. And I'm just like, whoa, that's so cool. We're going to have to go and visit. We're going to have to
Yeah.
go there. So, yeah, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to need to actually go do a real road
You're
trip.
going to really need to use your little Midwest passport and make sure you go over
Exactly.
there.
Yes, exactly. So, with your two main characters that are in this book, if they were to go on a road trip, where would they go? And what kind of treats and drinks or snacks would they bring with them?
Well, I'm gonna put a little caveat in there in that I wrote this book a long time ago. So
That's
like I
okay.
remember the big things, but sometimes when you write, some of your characters and their likes and dislikes blend together. I will tell
Yeah.
you this. Evan loves Batman. Batman plays into that. I know that's not a drink
Cool.
or anything, but I do remember that. I also know that they both do love popcorn. And I believe cookies make Rachel makes some really great cookies. I know
Oh, yeah.
Evan would have her make the cookies for the road trip. I'm a cookie lover, so cookies tend to
Yeah.
slide into my stories as well.
Oh, me too.
But I would say the two of them, I'm gonna be honest, are probably out of all my characters closer to homebodies than anyone else.
Oh, really? Okay.
They really like um, both of where their house is and where they end up is in Evan's home is right on the beach. And I think
Okay.
pretty much they are very family oriented.
Hmm.
And I feel like they would more likely do a staycation
Oh,
than
cool.
go
Yep.
on a vacation to,
That's
and
totally
they
fine too.
at nights like they would sit on their porch, they would go down to the beach and do a campfire and do marshmallows and eat cookies and stuff.
I love
Um,
that.
that is more where they kind of fall as characters than trotting around the globe, I think.
Right. Okay.
So yeah,
Staycations are wonderful as well.
they are exactly, and
Yeah.
they're much more affordable.
Oh, yes, much more affordable. Yes, that's very true. And then if you were to go on a road trip vacation, what book would you bring with you? Your favorite, one that you've revisited a couple times throughout your life or many times throughout your life, the best book that you love that you would bring with you?
Oh my goodness. That's like thinking about a favorite child. I will say though,
Or if you have a
I
couple too, doesn't
right.
matter.
I am old school. And I would probably, and this is an old one, but I would probably go back. So to where I started when I started reading Christian fiction,
Yep.
because I'm a Christian fiction girl.
Yep.
Uh, and so when I first
That's
really
cool.
found my way back into it, there was a series by D. Henderson, and it was back in the 90s, and it was
Yeah.
called the O'Malley series. And again, like I told you, I'm a series girl, and it's about this. They're kind of found family, so they
Okay.
met in foster care and became their own family. So it's a
Cool.
6 book series. It's about each one is about one of the siblings. Of course, they're finding love because I love romance.
Right.
That's very much a comfort series for me. I go back to that one quite often.
Oh,
It's a little
cool.
bit of romantic suspense at times, so I like suspense thrown into my books too.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those that I know I can pick up. Like I said, it's from the 90s, but it's one
Right.
I'm not a huge rereader. Like
Yep.
usually when I read a story, I don't often go back and reread it. But that is one that since I read it first,
Yeah.
I have read again the entire series and recently listened to it again.
Oh, wow.
So
That's awesome.
it's a comfort book. So
Cool. And that series is called what again?
it's called the O'Malley series. It's by D. Henderson.
Cool.
So
Okay.
yeah, and
Awesome.
it's really again, I love books that you get to stay with a family or stay with people for a time. There's great moments, and there are times where you're going to want your box of Kleenex. So I mean, it kind of runs the gambit.
I
So
love that. Oh my gosh. And you know what? I just realized when you said that about, sticking with a family for a while or sticking with a group of friends for a while, like I think now I realize I'm like I like series too because of that, I think.
it is. I mean, I love a good standalone. I never pass up a good book, but it's if in kind of my sweet spot is getting to know people and sticking with it for a
So
little bit.
you said that you're a mom and you have how many kids?
Three.
Three kids. Okay, and
So
they are all grown up now
they
and
are. So they range from 19 to 25.
oh
So
cool.
my oldest is married, got married last August,
Oh
and
cool.
my youngest is getting married in September,
Oh
and our middle
wow.
is finishing up nursing school.
Oh my
So
goodness. That's
yeah.
awesome. Well, since they are all out of the nest now,
Mhm.
what is some advice that you have for writers or moms who are trying to find time and also be the writing bosses as well as mom bosses?
Yes. Really, it's about seasons. And so just give yourself a little bit of a break and know that in this season, your kids and your family, especially if you have littles, when they're little, they require a lot more of your time. They just do, and they need you. And you do not get those years back. I always, like I said, I had the opportunity to homeschool my kids. We spent tons of time together. Um, I felt like I really tried to take a moment every day and enjoy those days. And yet on the far side, I look back and think it went so much faster.
Oh
I
wow.
would
Yeah.
still give anything to have those days back. I'm so excited for my children and I want them to grow up, the whole grown and flown thing. I wouldn't change it. But you don't get that time back. So,
Right.
you will have the rest of your life to write, but don't feel like you're missing out. So I would say when they're younger, just find those snippets, whether you choose to stay up late and write instead of watch a show or write instead of read. So find the snippets of time where you can, but allow yourself to just enjoy the time with your kids because, even with 5 or 10 years, it starts to change.
Yeah.
And then you'll start to find that they don't, need you quite as much and your pockets of time will open and you will have a season where you can sit and write. So I would say, if you're starting to write and they're young, just work on finishing a story. Make that a goal. A lot of people want to write, but they never finish a story.
Mm,
So just sit with it. Even if it takes you a year or more to find the time to
mhm.
write it, it's a great way for you to begin to learn the craft. Pick up books about
Yep.
craft, have people look at your work that you trust that are trusted sources and give you feedback that you can hone because it's a great time to just learn the craft so
Mm,
that when you get to a spot where you have more time, you can really put into the writing.
yep. Yeah, that's all great advice.
Cheers.
And so are you working on anything new at the moment?
So I just handed in the final book in a series that will come out in, so this book one and two are out. I just handed in book three, and book
Oh,
three will come out
cool.
in spring. And that's the Treasures of Halsted Manor series.
Okay.
And so that one I just handed in. And I do have another project that I'm working on and just handed that in as well. So we'll see what's up with that. I have to wait a
Cool.
little bit on that one. And now I'm starting to think about, okay, my plate's a little clear. Like I said, I have a wedding in the fall. So
Yep.
I think once we get past the wedding, my brain's been spinning stories and
Yep.
when you come off of one series that you spent years with, by the time you've written book three, you've spent several years with, you need a little bit of a brain break.
Sure.
And so it's just starting to spin some new story ideas. So I'll get that down on paper and start submitting
What does a
again.
day
So,
in the life of Susan as the writer? What's that look like for you?
well, I am in, like I keep talking about seasons, I am in a new season. And in the last 2 years, not only has my last one graduated, we're going through marriages, but I've lost both my parents. I was taking
Oh,
care of my parents
I'm
and I've lost
sorry.
both of them. And my father just passed away recently. And so that was kind of a busy, crazy couple of years. And
Oh, I'm
thank you.
sure. Yeah,
It's definitely an interesting time. And
it's not easy,
so it's
even
not.
if you expect it.
It's not. I adore my parents. So
Yeah.
it's been a change. Like I always say as a Christian, I'm like, I know where they are. They got the
Yeah,
better end of this. So, like they're doing
exactly.
great.
And I'm right there
Um,
with you. I'm a Christian too, so I
yeah.
totally believe that as well.
Yeah, and I'm like, so this is we're I'm happy for them. They're healed, they're whole. But it's now kind of given me a time to go, what does life look like now when I'm not full-time taking care of my parents and full-time
Mhm.
taking care of my
Yep.
kids? And so I'm just kind of been sitting in the last couple months to say, what does a day in the life look like? And
Right.
starting to write again, starting to kind of put together my days of going, okay, writing a book, marketing a book. I do women's ministry at the church. So, okay, jumping back
Cool.
into that now that I have time. And like I said, spinning some story ideas because I'm trying to figure out like, okay, do I want to submit again to another publisher? Do I want to try some independent and
Cool.
have a little bit more control on my schedule? I have loved both, so I don't know. So we're figuring out what a day in the life looks like right now because it's
Cool.
drastically changed in the last couple years.
Oh,
I
that's
joke all the time.
awesome.
We got a dog just a couple years ago when all this was going on, and I'm like, he's my focus now. Like making sure we take a walk every day. And I
Yeah,
tease all the time. I'm like, he's the one that's sticking around. So it's him and I. So we'll see what our days look like.
that's awesome. What kind of dog?
He's a border doodle, so border collie and poodle
Cute.
mix.
How
So
funny. There are so many of those poodle mixes that
there
I'm like,
are.
there's so many of them, but they're very cute.
They are. And he's adorable, and I'm a complete dog mom. So
That's good. That's good. Yeah, well, he's lucky to have you then. If people were in your area in Michigan, what restaurants or coffee shops would you recommend?
okay, coffee shops. I would say Madcap is a great coffee shop right downtown that I love. They're really good. We
Okay.
have one in Granville. It's called Wild Roast. That's good. We also, I have to say, as a book lover, we have two amazing bookstores by us. Again,
Ooh,
Christian fiction.
yeah.
One is called Prodigal, and one is called Baker Bookhouse. And
Ooh,
Baker Bookhouse also has a coffee shop in it, so
oh,
you get
fun. Added
cool.
bonus.
So those are really good. And then
Yeah.
restaurants. I love a restaurant called Scholar. That's downtown. It's got a little bit of everything at it, but they have really good food and you can kind of just sit and linger over it.
Oh, cool.
And there's another one that we just tried and it just opened, and I think it's called Alora. And it's
Mm.
kind of like a Mediterranean kind of Italian.
Ooh,
Like their
yeah.
whole idea again is to just sit and linger over your meal. But they have their chef. He went to France or he went to Italy for like six
Cool.
months and studied there. So those are really good. But then I also just
Wow.
love a really good burger. And then we have a place called Black Napkin that just I'm gluten
Oh.
free. They make amazing burgers and they have gluten free buns. So
Ooh,
yeah,
well,
so we
added
have a little
bonus
bit of
there,
everything.
right?
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you
Mhm.
traveled abroad before?
I have, yes,
Cool.
yes.
And what areas have you traveled that you've loved?
So we took a cruise down the Danube, and that's probably a riverboat cruise. It's probably one of my most favorite things I did because
Cool.
it's very, very, very small. And they drop you right off into the heart of a lot of these little European towns. And we started in Budapest, which is absolutely breathtaking, especially at
Mm,
night. We went through Vienna, which is amazing. And I love the palace. They have a summer palace there that's absolutely gorgeous. We ended
mm.
in Germany, but that whole trip was amazing. We went through something called the Wachau Valley, so it's green on both sides, and you're just
Oh,
going down. So that was gorgeous. And then this past year, we also got to go to both Greece and Italy. We were in Rome. We were in Napoli. So really good food, really
yes.
amazing food, a lot of amazing things to see.
Yeah.
And um, yeah, again, it was just, I would definitely go back there. I would not,
Okay.
if you got a choice, I would not go back in summer.
Okay.
We went in July because that's just when we were able to go and had an amazing time, but very, very hot and a lot of crowds. So if you really want to be able to kind of stop and see things without shoulder to shoulder
Oh,
people,
wow.
I would pick maybe a different month
Sure.
when you're in Italy or Greece for that matter, but it was still well worth going.
Oh, cool. Awesome. And you said that in your books, you do like to pull in the travel
Mhm.
into your books. And so those areas that you went, are there any areas in some of your books that you
Yes.
pulled those areas in?
Most definitely. So I have a standalone called Love You Truly. That is a little bit of a reality show. I kind of a back
Cool.
take the Bachelor.
Yeah.
And it was my mindset was I used to years ago fold clothes and watch The Bachelor. That's just
Yeah.
the night that I was folding clothes. And I thought, what would you do if you were a woman that didn't want to be on that show? Like what? And I thought, I'm gonna write that.
Yeah.
So there's the woman and the guy, like it's kind of that idea. But because they're on this show, they do travel.
Okay.
And they kind of actually do the riverboat cruise that I was on. So you'll see a lot of those places. And that was a
Cool.
really fun book because as much as I love to write friends to more,
Yep.
I really love enemies to more
Oh,
also.
yes.
I
I
love the
love that one as
banter.
well.
Yeah, and kind of that little bit of how do we go from not liking each other to liking each other? But
Yeah,
there's a lot of good banter and spark you can do with that. Um,
exactly.
and then in my most recent series, The Treasures of Halsted Manor, you get a little bit of so when I was in Vienna on this riverboat cruise and in the palaces, I love to read everything when I'm in a
Oh, yeah.
museum. And I read about the emperor and empress and their family and just losing the crown jewels. And they had some crazy unique stuff in that family.
Wow.
And so I kind of started this series by going, well, what could have happened to this jewel and where could it be? And so I have this series has over the course of the three books, they go multiple places. Some that I've been, so you'll see like Vienna, you'll see Greece, you'll see Italy, and some that I haven't been. Like I've never gotten to go to London, and they do end up in London. They go
Cool.
to Haitio, Spain, and I haven't gotten to go there yet. So there are some places that I got to visit via my computer,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
and then I also added in places that I have
I
been. So,
love that. And then so when there's a place that you haven't been to, how is it that you research that? Like, how do you fully
so
immerse yourself into that
we
as a
live in
writer?
a really great time. So I do everything from just looking up and taking up books or looking on my computer and researching as much as I can about the location, what kind of plant life you'll see there, what kind of
Mm,
language they speak there, what the history is of that culture. And then I even kind of go into Google Maps because you can drop yourself
mm,
right onto a street, full 360 view and look around. And so I will find locations that I know I want to use within the book. For instance, the one I just turned in, they were in London and they actually go to London in the second book and the third book.
oh, cool.
And both had places that I was like, I didn't know this existed. And one is a bookstore that they need to go to, and one is a museum that they need to go to. And
Hmm.
I was able to look both of those places up online. But then I was also able to go to them on Google Maps and literally go, this is the hotel they're at, this is the street they'd walk on, and I could look at it and walk along the street via Google Maps.
Oh,
So
cool.
that's a really neat way of being able to, as much as I can, immerse myself into
Where
it.
can people find you and your books online?
So you can, any bookseller will have them online. All the online booksellers will. They are in some bookstores, brick and mortar. Brick and mortar is getting harder and harder, but you can always ask if you're in a Barnes and Noble, they'll order them too,
Right.
or just order it online. So Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, all that. I think you can even sometimes find them on Target.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I think because Target's doing more with books.
That's awesome.
And then online, as far as connecting with me, I am probably most active on Instagram.
Hmm.
And so I do have a Facebook author page. I'm trying to get better at being on there. And I do have a newsletter that now that life is opening up a little bit, I'm getting back to sending out my newsletter. I haven't sent it out for some time. I just didn't have the capacity
Okay.
to. But you can find the link to my newsletter via Instagram because that is pretty much where I've stayed the most active. The most important thing is use my middle initial. So it's Susan L. Tuttle,
Okay.
because there are other Susan Tuttles out there. So
Yes,
I've had
yes. And we want you.
different
We don't want someone
initials.
else.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Perfect. Awesome. I will put all of that stuff into the description of the video below, where to find your
Perfect.
books and all that information. Yeah, I am so happy to have met you, and I hope that we stay in touch. And it was lovely chatting with you.
Sounds good. I mutual.
Oh, good, good. Yes. Well,
Have a
we'll talk
great
again
day.
later.
Sounds good.
Thanks for riding shotgun on the Romance Reading Road Trip. I'm so excited for you to be joining this journey with us. Be sure to go down to the video description below and sign up for the passport. You're not going to want to miss out on it.